60.
You are passionately interested
Yes.
in the story ya human body
Kakati
trafficking.
human body parts. Cabinet.
Yatula mu mwaka
Ati nkubulidde abireeta atya kati takimanyi.
President
yabagobye.
On the 4th of June.
Gwe n'abako bakankubuulize. Get it from me. The group you are defending went to the president yesterday and chased them to face the International Court of Justice.
Okay.
Didn't me tell you never call.
Kansoke kweka information kan. I didn't make my research for nothing. Nganya omwezi gwa June 22. Chigambibwa nti cabinet Uganda's cabinet yatula and approved a bill that is enacted by parliament and will regulate human organ donation and trade in the East African country.
Cabinet yeswala 2,000 Ugandans were taken to India and their organs extracted. There is a man who took 500 girls outside Uganda. Their organs were extracted. He came back, closed his company, and invested in a bus. Evidence. Bajebayina. Immigration department will be empty. Abantu basinga bungi passport babadde tebagenda. The immigration department at Entebbe airport is in big trouble. Mbabuliza.
Tamale, where are you heading? And what is the essence of talking?
60%.
Mkulaba, you're so passionate.
60% of your surgeons about to board the plane. What I said, instead of this young girl messing up with a very explosive situation, I gave you as a mass communicator. A man who did the public relations and the international relations and the international law. Let the government come up, use credible people like Rugunda, and say, the Ugandan government with the ICC are carrying out investigations on allegations of human unprofessional, call it unprofessional, extraction of human organs.
Tamale kankubuzi wana katona misoko lindeko. Oloza singa bayisa billion je bayise.
Teina weeyita. Bali bagala kuprotectinga kino. Idi upogambye ne cabinet okifulumya olwaliro yawula madalas.
Because according to some non-government organizations,
we problem yo toyina logic. I've told you that this proposal this woman is talking about has come about, is now revealing, is in order to defend
what has been happening.
Can the cabinet protect these people who have already been indicted? And for your information, these people have hired lawyers at a tune of $5 million. Kati ayogera ki? Toyinza gamba kankubuulire toyinza gamba nti bulira tekiriiyo netubandeetera omulala kuba you are fair to listen. What I'm telling you that this issue is now overtaken. The criminals wanted to protect the law and the law, but these crimes occurred before the law, and they are indicted.
Which is
47 of them. Kakati you bring a law to protect these ones is never cover sensible.
To protect further incidents.
I think kubulidde mumazo kyono nekyo temukyogera ku kyobula president yabagobi neki musebe ntatera kunyiika naye bwaba yakutte ekiwandiiko kyabwe that and it is not in their defense. The statement they wrote kubanza ebyuma byange nkulaba waliwo lwe bakwata obupapula nga babuwandiika bwe bati ngaera mbulaba ekyo ekiwandiiko wekitayipingira mba nkulaba. They have 3 defense fact points. 1, the Pakistani who came here as an investor in informaticals. We only gave him an investor's license. What about photographs linking you to this Pakistan? And the Pakistan is in prison. The second point was that, yes, thousands of Ugandans were killed in India omanyi nti abaana abawala babe basangako abasajja 15 edde bwe baggwangamu amaanyi ne batwala mu Slaughter House. Is what cabinet wants to protect now?
But okay, what I want you to agree with,
these are crimes already committed,
yes,
which cannot be covered by a proposal. In fact, it indicates that the criminals, because some are ministers, were behind this law. Nabakuba chatamanyite yasoma logic.
A law which is not in existence. Njagala ko kunyonyola. Before to have
ate kugambye terikyasoboka kati. Ero kati kikutegeeza, they are exposing themselves and they are dragging the whole cabinet into it. Ekyo tekyogerako kati. Because we are not complaining. This they have already been issued with the international gund. ICC. And they went to the president to defend them. How could Museveni, Nate Muina Magezi Basajjamu, can Museveni come up and defend the killers? Kakati Nabakova don't be like a toilet.
Let's move on.
And the problem with the Nabakovas, by agents, Nabakova, I can give you information. No one angavadde ku Mirundi official bamutomedde mu motoka. Bakiring evidence. You not kill the evidence. What if the ICC addresses a press conference? Will you block them as you were blocking in internet? Are you going to break it? Can you hide? Can you nani hide her prisoners? Kubange gandula nene. The prisoners will explode. This scandal is going to explode. The ministers of health must resign. The permanent secretary Yabaddeyo in TV must resign. Diana called me a madman. You prepare how to handle this scandal. You cannot stop ICC by talking about a non-existing law.
A court martial division nawe Makindi ranga aba 49 suspects nga bano babirionginga ku NUP ranga bawagizi ba National Unity Platform omwezi gumwe mabega bakwatibwa side zeyo ekalangala nga kigambe bali abawagizi 10 plus. Then ne batwalibwa makusaka mu koti abamu baba wa bail, then 49 of them ne batwalibwa ekitalya. So nako lweggulo babaddeko maaso g'omulamuzi wa court martial Lieutenant General Andrew Guti era babadde bagenda kulibwa bail application y'okusinziira ku omuwabi wa government oba yabadde ku ludda oluwabi yagambye nti bail applications ezo zatuuse ku makya era tebafunye
bulungi. That is not my problem.
So kyagenza okuggwa ng'omulamuzi Andrew Guti alamula court martial
naye bali mulamula
mpaka ng'ennaku
ojja kumulaba nga international community emujimbi Guti
omusango okukwatibwa mbu basangibwa n'amasasi 4 era nga waliwo omusaaki eyaliwo saidi zaabwe makerere omu ku buwagizi ba NUP naye tebafunayo evidence.
You see,
Mzee Tamale wajagala okuleeta
what do all these things mean? It is all a failure to handle a problem. When you fail to handle a problem, you resort to illogical solutions. If there is an organization I defend much, is UPDF. That's why immediately I got information. Yachi baba bulidde n'entebe. Kyabakola asooka n'abawa obutambi wulira eddoboozi eryo siriryo n'abakuba batabimanyi. Because I defend UPDF, that's why the UPDF, I'm a commander, moved swiftly and General Sabi to protect me and my home. You are killing a UPDF. Why? And this is the remaining pillar of the state we have to talk about.
The UPDF.
You cannot take a civilians to court martial. When did this man, a court martial is for what? If you read the dictionary, a court martial is for what?
For soldiers.
When did this criminal join the army? My solution would be,
that belong to the army.
We have educated soldiers with master's degrees in law some of them are more knowledgeable about law than the judges you are talking about. Why do you create an anti-corruption court, which is a corruption court, a kangaroo court, even if that judge is going to be, is under investigation, is operating a kangaroo court?
Lieutenant General
you want corruption. Why don't you create a court for serious crimes headed by a soldier? Make it soldier judges. We have highly educated people in the army. Tinyefunza has been registering first class everywhere he goes. Harotinga. Egundi Mugira has a master's in law. Tumukunde himself has a master's in law. Kayugula has a master's in law. Why don't instead of diluting the court martial by taking their criminals, the military council should sit and say no. Appoint, how long does it take to become a judge? In Uganda, a judge comes from failed chambers. There is no judge. Look what is them, examine them. Who worked in a well-functioning chamber? Judges are recruited from failed chambers. Those who have failed to make money. Others are appointed, like Muriagonja, to protect the interests of the mafias. Kakati, why don't we create a special court for criminals? Because Gundi Yachifuna, the president is facing the same problem Bush faced. Bush yakwatanga ba criminals, but terrorists, nabatwala mu America. The moment they landed on American soil, they were treated differently. Liberties, American liberties. What Bush decided to do was open up tough prisons in Eastern Europe, which was illegal. Until Katonda lwe yamuyamba ne bakuba Twin Towers, then the American judges realized the danger of terrorists and became tough. Kakati mu kifo ky'okutta court martial, appoint, in fact, I don't know, it is only in Uganda where a deputy headmaster cannot become headmaster. I don't mean that. Chief magistrates, however educated they are, cannot become judges. Judges are picked from failed lawyers. Kakati, if the army has educated, highly educated people, like those I've mentioned and others, why don't we have a special court to deal and live with the court martial? Because you were saying that if a conman dressed in a religious castle is arrested in Kampala, conning the people, masquerading as a priest, should be arraigned before Lubaga Onda Mirembe. Is he a priest? You are elevated. The man will tell you when did I join the theological school. So these issues, I can understand. Look what Wembley, and look what the Wembley in the Philippines. The Wembley in the Philippines, the president of Philippines brought a law in the parliament insulating those who are involved in the Wembley against future prostitution. Now in Uganda, Kayanja is not protected. Another government will come and say these were rebels. Tumukunde, because of his legal knowledge, formidability, yagamba one, temukwata ku mundu zange ezaayiso mu Wembley. 2, sijja kubikola. I'm a lawyer. Kayanja, who is not a lawyer, just farmed, he took it as an opportunity for publicity. Katali protected. Unless you make a law again to protect Kayanja and others who participated in the Wembley.
Mzee Tamale, botulira these 49 suspects. Guno sigwe Murundi ogusose.
Mayikwalo
Bobby Wine obaruba Center mu bamusake
musanvu later nti Mayikwalo is not anybody in Uganda can be arrested. I move with my hammer here. Have you ever seen me smashing somebody?
It's for your own protection.
Yes, I was talking to police officers this morning. Ninjibalaga, it is for my protection. walabe kanji kubi omuntu.
But it's not an army weapon.
President yabagamba nti tatambula na acid, tatambula n'ennyondo, akubeko omuntu omu, ayireko omuntu omu, njamukangavula n'okusinga bwe nali nkoze. They wanted to disarm me to kill me. Kakati tegamba, this does not qualify me to be a carpenter. No. Any Ugandan must be arrested. But even the methodology of arresting is bad. Mumwaleta enkola ya LC. If we want to arrest Mirundi, mweche mutamanyi abantu balina verdict zaabwe. Bw'ojja ku kyalo n'okwata omuntu abantu bagamba Museveni takwatira abantu babwerere. Museveni does not arrest innocent people. Oyo yakoze manyanga ge. This is the verdict on the village. The villagers cannot, they don't express sympathy because Museveni does not arrest innocent people.
So Linga Gamba, these 49 suspects...
It's only the methodology which is wrong. The way you arrested them. Kakati kankubuulize omupoliisi wa Arua yaga nti Bobi Wine yayina emmundu bwe yajja mu gundi yaga nalaba ddole n'asigalamu ng'akola abantu tebakwasa omuntu. Kyenkubuulira nti we call it mu political science tukiyita embarking on a self-destruction mission. The government has embarked on a self-destruction mission, destroying its institutions. Nti gwe ensi yogireetera mbazi abaganda bakuga nti abaana ne bakulaba ng'oggyeyo omugo nti jjajja agenda kukuba mmese se mmese eyammwe abaana baseka. You just step on a rat. Kakati the question is methodology. Anybody is arrestable. Arrest him. Naye n'olaba abasajja nga balwana n'omusajja kooti gwetadde premises za kooti ate tebuli mmeri sijja omutubuliki nabuyubuya nemudya emotoka zaffe ezakamunye tezikyatwala bantu. Why don't you follow up with this man? N'atuuka ewuwe ne mumukwata nga tebalaba ne mumuzzayo ne mumukyajeeyo. Cardinal Nsonga wrote a letter to Obote saying you are turning courts into a kasajja fuba. Kasajja fuba is a scarecrow. The issue of arresting people and detaining them on detention, kuba bwe bakukwatanga kyesiimira was acquitted, but he was detained on detention orders. Kirunda Luwuliza used to move in bars with detention orders. During your Obote's time, we had people we used to call lodgers who were kept in New Zealand, but was a lawyer, no charge. Are we going back? Are we can this be done in the Museveni's government?
But literally is what is happening.
Somebody is panicking. Somebody is acting. Bago babagezi bonna. Kugenti tumukunde yagamba temukwata ku muntu yaiso neji. Nagamba without an insulating law, I cannot allow Yiso to kill people extrajudicially.
Are we going back in the 80s?
That's Chenkubulida. To some people lack brains.
And could this be the last kicks of a dying horse?
We political science akugamba when the system overstays in power, it develops political inertia. Tikakati abaganda ntukugamba tekisobe kiba kigenda okugalira muvamu ebiswe ebitoto biyita bingazamba. You see the people are defending government. They are comparable to bingazamba.
What is that?
Yes. Sensible people are running away. N'okwata Bobi Wine n'agenda mu kkooti n'abawaabira ne wabula bwaga nti nze na sendika y'abaserikale. Why are you running? If I go home ne mbuza abaana bange nti ani aggyewo ekintu kya ani ataddeko difu ne bantunuulira bwe bati.
Kitegeeza aliwo ekizibu.
Yes. Wakiri muwayirize bebi ti obebi obwedda yagizanyirako beeni obwedda yagizanyirako nze ntegeera nti beeni zagizanyirako bano abakulu bano naye how can you then if government doesn't know who deployed soldiers at Bobi Wine's residence, it means you are not in charge. A Minister of Internal Affairs goes to Parliament and says, I don't know who is arresting people. Why don't you resign? So are you saying that the government, there is a subterfuge that is very powerful in the government?
A government within government.
If Abaganda tuchita chitambo, Abaganda tuina Lubaale, and I'm one of the people who believes in witchcraft, my tradition. kakati Lubale is a combination of a Mizimu and others, the ancestors who died. For us we believe like a religion. Kati abajulizi bakola ebyewunyo, they are near God. Nebaganda traditions believe that way. These ones look for, they are no longer human beings. So, and Mugabe said, an African becomes more dangerous in days. That's Mugabe. Kakati, ekitambo, when it invades Lubale, Lubale does not talk. It captures Lubale. It's more powerful. Era omusawo Muganda atali mubya jabagamba Lubale wa mwalimu ekitambo. When it comes, kakati, is this government having ekitambo?
And the question is,
a Minister of Internal Affairs comes to Parliament and says, I don't know who he is arresting people. And he's a general. So if you don't know, who knows? You are damaging the dent of the government. If the Minister of Internal Affairs doesn't know who are arresting people, do you expect a serious investor to come here? This is disorder. A state must be able to control its territory. A state must be able to control security. A state must be able to control coercive forces. Kakati anedda tebamanyi bye boogera. And the cabinet, see, no later be a cabinet in the face of indictment involving 47 people. No byogera. Nti bano bye bakola etteeka tali tetenabeera no ebituufu. You can never cover defend this before the international, the ICC that has issued 47 warrants of arrest. Does never cover know that the affected people have hired the international lawyers at the tune of $4 million
to deal with the matter,
to defend them. And the ICC never cover. Let me educate you. ICC, you have to go there in person. So will these people say that there is a Minister of Information in Uganda? The Minister of Information in Uganda told you there was an office, an ofingiro. So we did this because we would be protected. Nabakova.
Katwongerezeko cha Major General Paul Okech, adumiro amyuko mudumizi wa polisi mu ggwanga yavuddeyo naawe ebiragiro olunaku olw'eggulo n'agamba nti awadde salesale wonna ku ssaawa 8 eri amakomera okujja bonna be baakwata okubatwala mu kooti abatapiyaringa before court babatwale mu kooti n'awa n'ekiragiro ekirala n'agamba nti abakungu bonna abalina aba bodyguards abakwasa ensawo abaguzaawo enzigi abakosa emirimu gye batalina kukola bakikomye mu nnambiro w'omwana atera okugamba nti okkiriza bodyguard okugulya luki
no akagula tekaliiyo nti ntambula mu Kampala omuserikale anveeko emabega n'emmundu amayini danger anti bati bamanyi type VIP protection and all of those people you give security are VIP. Do you know that a Uganda red passport is not respected?
But Minister,
you go anywhere internationally and you wave your red passport, you'll be arrested. They will be spied on. Why? Your red passports are not with the dignitaries, criminals.
What do you mean?
Mwazijja ku kintu kyayo ne zifuuka an intimidation tool. Aina, oyonna aina. Olaba ndabana bapusiramu nga bakayana. Nze tebampise kukusiibulukuka. Ebbaluwa kadi yange ogiraba nebeera ku kyalo. Because you are running a primitive society. A person to be omuserikale okumuwa omuntu baali badde bamala n'emmere gy'oli awaka. Omuntu omuwa omuserikale yali madde kulaga nti ayina ka unipoti wamusuza. Omuserikale okumuwa omuntu baali badde bayita famire ye. Look what dogs. Embwa bwe bagikuleetera ewaka ezen training bakubuuza eneemanya abantu bameka olusu lwabwe. Kyobula bambasekerera timuyina bini enzigi z'ebigalo. Oluggi lw'ebigalo sambu omu yaaba nayo. Kakati kitegeeza nti that person ayina sambu eyo ayina obeera ku duty This is why in Europe you work for 7 hours ne baleetawo omulala. Kakati because ebigalo temuyina muntu asobola kubeerawo permanently buli mu staff ayina ekigalo kiggulawo. Is it a locked door?
What is it? There's the way you analyze
hey. Kubanga you see is mutunulia court.
Hey.
Court yagamba you are defamed before the well-thinking members of society. How does court define a well-thinking member of society? Era nze nabaga nti wali asobola kuntwala mu court. I did media law. Tulina emisango gya defamation egiri very important. Naye abalamuzi bamwe tebagimu. Nga bwe nabagamba gw'obukofiira. Many judges don't know it. Omusango gwa defamation ogwewunyisa ensi. Abaganda bagamba Ben Kiwanuka. Abamawulire abaleke these fools, these idiots. Batadde mu katabo kaabwe kali akawedde question and answer that they talked to me when they didn't. But if I grab any of you, did you talk to me? Single part of Bugasia. These people, in their last edition, they alleged assertively. Question and answer. Did any idiot from this newspaper come to talk to me? No sanga TV and radio. In media law, whoever helps to spread that information is reliable. Natunda Mauli is reliable.
You're not very involved.
Hey, ne chidira ebibadde eno ne kibiteekera. Tebamanyi. Kakati omusango gwa defamation. Abaganda abamawulire babuuza Ben Kiwanuka Kabaka yekka. You are now chief minister. You were Muganda. Who will be going to the other? The Kabaka or you? Ben Kiwanuka, being a lawyer, said, on matters of tradition, I will go to Mengo because I'm a Muganda. On matters of national matters, the Kabaka must come to Entebbe because I'm a chief minister. The same statement was made by Museveni. Amusaba gabe wabagabe ba Buganda. Yes, lwaki tekyaleeta problem. Kakati Obote n'agenda mu Northern Uganda n'abagamba temulonda Ben Kiwanuka. Ben Kiwanuka tasana mu kabaka w'ekitiibwa. Ben Kiwanuka went to court. The Chief Justice then was a Nigerian called Saudo Udoma. Saudo Udoma told Kiwanuka, you were defamed before the well-thinking members of society. I want you to bring me 10 people who don't know that a chief minister is more powerful than the Kabaka of Buganda. Bamubula.
Natali.
Siba walala. It was a defamation to illiterates in Buganda, traditionalists, radicals. It was not a defamation before the well-thinking members of society. Kiwanuka was lost in the case. And you must show a loss. Omusajja ono bwe yanjogerako, I lost this. Before we ne mu kirabu ya Rotary bangobyemu. Abalamuzi tebakimanyi. Tebamanyi defamation oyo omukazi simanyi Elizabeth. Ate tamanyiddeeko ddala. Kakati nkubuule. Twalayo defamation case Elizabeth simusoke tamanyi. Tamanyi defamation. Most of your judges don't understand defamation. Kakati kiri kye bajjawo Obote yakireeta nti ne bw'oloota obuloosi ng'oli president wa Uganda, you report to the police. Oba twakiyitanga tutya nti yes, era to escape twakugambanga abeetoolodde Museveni abamwetoolodde nga if you mention the president himself that is responsible, tulina bwe twali tukiyita. Another interesting defamation case yali Abu Mayanja against munno. Abu Mayanja yagenda ku mawuledi n'agamba abasiraamu abavubuka abatomba kunga muwasa ababiikira. Ababiikira abakatuliki ne bamulumba. Agamba ate okuwasa ababiikira kubanga ababiikira be basisita. Bikira Maria tebakitegeera gye kyava. Bikira kigambo kya Luwarabu ekitegeeza virgin. Abamayanja tuuku muno to court. Sinnabagambako nti nkunze abasiraamu bawase bannaanisi mumbayita babiikira from the Virgin Mary. The word bikira in Arab means a virgin. I was encouraging Muslim youth to marry virgin
girls.
Not the case. The Catholic Church contributed 40,000 emitwalo ena to compensate Abu Mayanja. Nazimbamu nenyumba ye yerungujja. So, kakati why am I explaining this? These are VIP protectors. Do you deploy them to VIPs? Kati mu Uganda muno.
So ndinga gamba we need to define the VIPs.
Mu Uganda muno mulimu ofisa wa maje sagala nyigire. Neba muyita Fende Kavera. Mwewe tewapamwa. Muteke. Bamuyita Fende Kavera. Yes. Kakati mwe first define who is a VIP. Ndi kakati osanga omukazi nga Bwanga mumumanyi Bwanga tayimirira ku bitaala. Bwanga busajja bwattu obw'emmundu ne buvaamu nga bumugoba n'olaba kulannama omusamize ayina abaserikale pick-up ng'otwalayo mwana waana ate jjajja mundu akuuma atya jjajja mayembe mu tradition tekiri. Yes, define who is a VIP. Abaserikale obatwala under these conditions.
Ababira mu kkubo nga bagaddiita mu bokka yagambye ekyo kiri only accorded to president, vice president ne ambulance.
The right of way erikwani ku president na ambulance ne fire. Kakati bannayuganda kyenkugambye we are busy eroding the importance and the status of our institutions. Omanyi lwaki bannayuganda tebaviira ambulances bazipangisamu abasaabaze. Ogenda Ntebe nti giyingiremu bazihayalinga nze mbabuuza abataxi mikwano gyange lwaki temuviira fire ene Uganda a fire vehicle emala kuvujjamu baserikale to clear the road. Why? Baba batwala mazzi, there is no fire. Kakati institution zonna red passport mwagitta koti maaso mugisse VIP protection mugisse. What are you remaining with?
Wewa awono wenjagala tuyongere n'emboozi endala ekoza amawulire weekend oba week ewedde. Emboozi eriwo ennaku zino nga tunaba kutuwa kweje musinga okubanga mwetaaga okuwulira eya petition tulya gitukako maaso. Ne katono nnyo katuseke tujjewo ne kino ekya parliament oba ekyabaka parliament bakalonda Ministry of Finance eri mu kunoonya ssente ziri wakati wa 165 billions nga ssente zinono zatuli abaka mmotoka. Tujjukira nti ne parliament ewedde parliament ye 10 emboozi emu yaliwo era ssente zaamala ne ziyisibwa omubaka wa parliament baweebwa miliyoni 10 ze bakozesa okugula emmotoka. Ku luno abaka parliament beeyongeddeko okuva mu 448 ku 527 era nga ku luno budget ya parliament esubira n'okweyongera okuva ku 667 billions okweyongera ku 7 njogera ku billions. So eyo budget bagenda okukozesa mu kino ekisanja ekiddako. So ku luno mu zino ssente ezigenda okubanga zitandikibwako ze billion 165 ezegula emmotoka. Ekyebuuzibwa ezo ssente tunaazijjawa yo ababaka beetaagisibwa okuba nezo that kind of facilitation oba nedda mukukuna bwenjagala oyingirire.
There are 3 issues which a simple brain cannot understand. One, is it entitled to them? Because
yes, it is.
The framers of the Constitution were many lawyers, and that's what I tell you. Until we should rewrite the Constitution without the shadow of Obote, without nostalgia, thinking about the past. But when you read our Constitution, they looked at the presidency. The presidency caused us trouble. The president of Uganda has much powers, which is not. In fact, the president of Uganda does not have much powers. One, his appointments are vetted. He does not. At one time, he was required to go to Parliament, to ask Parliament to declare war. These were idealist lawyers. But the President of the United States initiated his appointment. When his appointee is rejected, he waits Congress, negenda mu recess n'amuteekawo. Museveni takiina. America balina kye bayita political decision doctrine. The President of the United States has declared war on Saddam Hussein. Nobody quarrels, cannot petition. This is a political decision doctrine. Museveni tachirina. Kati babana babatunuuliza ne mbagamba, look, Museveni bwe yajja mu buyinza yafugira mu constitution ya 67 abantu gye bakaasinga n'abatagisomangamu. Did he put the people in the orders? Did he abuse it? The same constitution gye mukaaba, which means is the personality, not the constitution.
Personality?
Yes. Contrary to what many Ugandans don't know, the 1962, the Constitution of 1962, the Constitution of 1966, the Constitution of 1967, the Constitution of 1995, they all contain excellent bills of rights. No Ugandans have been done this. Nobody should do this. A Ugandan should not remain in custody for over. A constitution remains a piece of paper and a will unless it is implemented. Have you ever seen a constitution going to CPS to release prisoners who have exceeded the constitution time limit to remain there and charged? Yes. Kakati bano badira obwa president ne babunafuya. It's only because of Museveni's status. Anaddako nga talina status talina kyajja kukola. Constitution yemujjako powers zonna. Kakati today Museveni cannot even pardon nti abasibe abali eruzira. Abasibe abali eruzira, the Attorney General must write to the OC in charge of prisons nti pardon ye, and the president tasobola kusonyiwa nga province guilty. President forgives you not to serve a sentence. Kati yena bwayimirira naga nti ababoda bonna batadde tebavaayo. Saamini.
Only those that pleaded guilty tebavaayo.
Saamini. Kakati bano ne bajja bagamba nti ababaka ba parliament basala nnyo eddiiro ne baleeta etteeka ery'obutagula shoppinga. You can only grasshop in the last year. Parliament hands over to another parliament. Kati kambabuuli. Be bawangudde mu parliament abakyagituulamu up to May be bakola byabaki? Where did they derive their powers? Abantu babajjemu obwesige. Can you stand and say that I'm representing the people of this area who voted you out?
Of course. Until the time is over. Mpaka ngekisanja kiwedde.
Anti kyenkubuulidde nti abo baakola as if everybody in the parliament will be coming back. Omusajja ono eyasaze eddiiro mu mwaka gw'ogusembayo n'ava mu FDC n'alaga mu NUP akyatudde ku saidi bwe bakubirayo ne bagamba nti gundi baba parliament obeto okuyisa mu constitution ya 67 helicopters were hovering over the parliament bagisanga mu pigeon hall zaabwe bagisa tebagisomyeko. Kakati abadde bagamba how do we protect the parliament as lawyers, as lawyers? Kakati parliament yekolere ku nsako zaayo like in the US. Yes, in USA, what type of VIP congressmen do you have there? Who wants to get money? Are they businessmen like you? Who bribe people?
What kind of MPs do we have?
Abagula. Kuba kakati is a business. Nti amanya tujja kufuna milioni 5 milioni 5 times 60. Anti omwaka gumu mulimu emyezi 12 times 5 times ng'afuna emyezi 6. Emyezi 6 afuna emitwalo 5 buli mwezi se bilioni 3. Kakati bilioni 3 agenda wa manerenda agenda mu banka. Yes. Nafuna milioni 3 ezeggula emmotoka agigula. Omanyi nti n'aluzinze election ne bamuwaabira n'addayo n'akoma afuna emmotoka endala milioni 3.5. Kakati kyembabuuza ng'akitunulamu atya. This is a constitutional issue. Nkugambye talina ngalabi ye gy'aleega ate bano tebajja kubikyusa. Parliament cannot ate tekiri provided for a referendum tekikyuka. Okujjako ng'abantu be baleese as I'm telling you, you don't have VIPs who should be protected. Some people don't qualify. Abaganda bakuga ntoyina toyina sente zigula mmere ng'ogulembwa abamu bayagala okumanya ba drivers. Do you know why some so-called VIPs die in accidents? Kamiro ke kabatisa agenda up country driver bamuwa emitwalo gy'omusanvu padde n'azibba yagula ennyama ono amuvuga amaziga gakulukuta n'amusuza mu kiboys quarter kakube mu kkubo nga mukomawo. Badriver be babatta abo bemulaba baminisita bafiiridde mu bubeeyi. Do the drivers die? Kamiro is not a VIP. Kakati gamba nti that's one. It is their constitutional right
to have the cars.
To have the cars.
And all the other benefits.
Two,
but is it
as a political scientist, I tell you, there is what we call a ward dividend. If you have 100 MPs, abatasobola kwekolera, who must rely on politics? Nga batuwa emirembe ne tukola ffe ebirala bawe. How long, if you sit down to calculate the cost of war in northern Uganda, the cost of war in Teso, how much money did we spend? Tanka ya amaje enywa amafuta ga sente mmeka? Ennyonyi eyebonga mu banka enywa amafuta ga sente mmeka? Bullets zigula sente mmeka ezigenda mu lutalo? Kati ffe tukugamba mu political science ti if you can solve this issue by providing this is the essence mbawulye mu bwino mwagala federal. Federal is expensive. You have several layers of authority. Look at Tanzania, the Zanzibar government, the mainland government, the union government. It's mainly to insulate conflicts, barrier. Abatasobola okukola bali as long as nti abasobola okukola n'emitwe gyaffe batuwa peace. But I want to tell you, explain it to me. Why should a man like Rwakoji fight for his wife to be in a parliament? Why should my friend Chirumira ensure that his wife in parliament? Why should all of these people have their wives in parliament? Parliament is yenguzi. To get a deal, you know, when mukazi wana aba wa sente, trusted person. So it is business as usual.
Ngaba na Uganda, isi at Uganda, na batula ku dinner table planning isi at Uganda. Do we know our priorities? Wabo tunulira sente spending last 2016 Sanja parliament 10 spending 7.9 billion okugula emotoka mpaka yafuna milioni 15.
That's not the issue. Bana batutaba na batire bweru bana 12 bana 5 bana bamekaba bavu. These are the wealthiest people in Uganda. Kamiro bani badusemisinde ne baduka bati oboge. Niamwe machiwa man. I cannot mention your names. You are killing me for nothing. Zisobola kubogera.
Do we know our priorities?
Temuisobola kutula ku bomu eno. Bajja kubala banga mutemba. Abantu bajja balabanga mutemba ennyonyi. Abantu bajja balaba nti abantu ba Uganda na musanvu prominent Ugandans are involved have been indicted for killing Ugandans in India and bagambye president mu kiwandiiko kyawe nete yakisome. The responsibility we have is our companies hand over these people to other companies. Ebikolebwayo tebibimanyi nga mwagamba mmwe mwennyini mwagamba nti company everyone has a responsibility. Going to be Girimana now to go to legalize the Mugoba Mujenda, Muchala Mukwaya, the Mugoba Mujen. You can see how powerful these people are. HH1, Chiba Kuntu, Bachua Kamuntu, Kamuntu Yachiba Wako, Kamuntu, Natural President, Bamukubi Mukalu. This is a very powerful group.
You have no,
go on. Ojoma zeko. Zemba sobola wanonzeka.
Tutambule fenne.
Bakubye jogo nendo. Bakubye mbatusa kwa isisi doors.
Mzee Tamale kitufu bakubye era peti gundi someone zaze.
Jogo lyo nandi kubye nende bamalamu.
Kiveko tudde kundala.
Nkugambi wa wasting time.
Do we know our priorities?
This is a constitutional right that the parliament determines its salaries. In America, Congress determines their salaries and allowances in relation to inflation. kati kitigiri is a constitutional matter. Bagenze kulia is business. Era okumanya abasajja bo bagezi bakugamba this is sitting allowance. Bulinge yo wakabina and sit. It is not talking allowance. If it was talking allowance, many MPs would go back empty-handed because many of them spend 5 years without making their maiden speeches. It's sitting allowance. Come with your buttocks and sit.
And you go with the 50,000.
You address the issue, unlike you. Me, I look what the root cause. The framers of the constitution gave parliament without knowing these are not parliamentarians. They don't qualify to be parliamentarians. They don't have. This is business, and you will kill yourself. You go and study India. In India, after election, 40% of the candidates die. They are assassinated.
Why?
But why is life and death? Oh, you go to India after an election. Most of the MPs fight murder cases, but opponents because abasajja abazungu baabuuza nti mutunuulire bannakenya badduka nnyo n'abaethiopia ne bakola research ne bakwata abazungu ne babatwala mu areas ezo ne balya emmere y'emu ne babaga nti mmwe nga temudduka nga bali baprofesa ba psychology abatali bemakerere ne babagamba nti these people are running away from poverty. The only way of getting money, graduating from poverty, is running. This is what bachimanyi ti bwodduka emisinde ofuna sente n'ogagawala. They are running away from poverty. So the parliament you have is not a representative parliament. These are not a legislative assembly. A legislative assembly sticks itself to legislating law. This one no butaleebuleta, which is good. Kadaga has popularized parliament. Nti UN ina combat, UN ina ICC to be fed by an ordinary ICC comes kati bana abajozi banani yali bakutteko. Abajozi nsaba gifukidde ne bagiriya ku mutwe ani yali badde abakwatako. ICC ebbanga eriwanuddeyo. So if parliament efuuse LC one council nga buli kimu ekikolako okufuna tenda bakulwanyisa bagikujjako okukola ki bakulwanyisa okudifendinga covid bajja kulya sente auditor general mbwa noyita kyakola yagamba nabba ettaka nalikomendinga mu Mirundi yabba ettaka akabukedde ne kakula.
Nze Tamale olabyeko gavumenti ez'enjawulo bw'otunuulira gavumenti eriko sawa zino n'engeri gye tutambula osobola tukubira ekifaananyi bwe tulaga mu myaka 10 tugenda kubeera wa.
Amin did not have democracy, was in power for 9 years. You saw the repercussions. We have an expensive political structure. You have seen. We are just what I'm talking about, the methodology of arresting people, taking the civilians to court martial. In the politics we call them political hygiene. It's not a storm. These are things that can be. Njagala omusajja oyo yerokekyo afuuke minisita wa internal affairs olabenko noddayo okulaba atunda passport za Uganda. These immigration officials are going to go. Babadde tebalabana ku muntu. Foreigners come here. Abente baba immigration million mu buli muntu. Abo bagenda okudduka. Abentebe bagenda okudduka bali ku banda bakati abaserikale bagenda kudduka bonna babayina ba immigration official tebalaba ku bantu. Waliwo eddwaliro wano mu Kampala mulimu amadwaliro agasinga obungi gonna n'agabamisa mulimu baddokita abakuula naye waliwo eddwaliro erimu lyo mwe badde bakima yero gundi yero gundi buno obupapula sitampu eno mpitirivu nnyo ate lya bannaddiini. This scandal is going to embarrass. Mugenda kulaba dokita duka mugenda galaba nga tegakyajja. That's why for me I tell you, protect the hospitals. Arrest these surgeons before the public pounces on them. Instead of Nabakova talking rubbish. There is no law. This confirms that you wanted the law to protect your crimes. What type of woman is this?
Well, katunga tuva ku nsonga y'ababaka parliament olunaku luno za lwali nga tumaliriza wiiki ey'ewedde amagye nago galonda representatives baabwe 10 era nga amateeka ligamba nti kwabe 10 kuteekwa okubaako abakyala 3 era nga list twagifuna lwakadde sigenda kugiyitamu naye ekibuuzo
era n'ekyo nakyo
amagye mu parliament omugaso gwa
yes, there are two purposes. One, it demonstrates that the revolution was a combined effort between the civilians and the armed wing. Very good. Two is that there is a misconception nti amagye bwe gajja ne gatunuulira tegawamba government. That's wrong. When you pamper the generals, the sergeant does emerge. See, NRMCSOs, UNLA, yeyina amagye 10. By that time in 1980, I was a parliamentary reporter. Uito Joku used to sit on the opposition side. Amagye galimu 10. Obote tegamuwamba. That's not a safeguard. Naye the concern zange ziri ezi. When you take these soldiers to witness thieves sharing the money,
and they are not entitled to any payment.
And they are not entitled. Are you not tempting them? Two, let us look at the past. Why are people like Etinyefunza go to parliament? Why Bogere and others? The reason is simple. Our soldiers are highly educated, very highly educated. When you talk to these soldiers, I get an opportunity of talking about top up. No, you get enough. You cannot even say that you are talking to a soldier. Nabaganti kaka milioni yako kali kazanya jeno yali azanya gundi bino ebyamwe bino agenda akafumita omuti kamukuba oluyi naye jeno yadduka misinde kamukuba oluyi jeno kaka milioni yatema butemi why esiriama officer cannot engage ni gambling yatema butemi yeye yadduka nagula n'abamole temumpandiikako era sole teryagimanyi. These are the type of soldiers we have. Kakati toyinza kudya musajja tiyefunza ayina magezi mutwe n'omugamba nti adde mu parliament position. Even me you cannot. We are not going to contribute. That's why I don't go to church. Nti polisi yanvume nze simudda mukwata akazindaalo tente kumvumira mu church nkayolerawo. Era there is a new trend. Don't fight the Catholic Church. I'm telling you. I've observed 2 incidents. Ineka malishiri ekyamagye kakati amagye gagende katunulira ababbi
ngaboti bafunamu
abamagye bafuna emmotoka zino miliyoni za mu 3.5 zemugenda okuwa bano nga teri mwabo abafuna emmotoka ze 3.5 Sereko yagigula ne Bobi Wine bagula za miliyoni 2. Are you telling the soldiers to go and witness this?
Yensonga lwaki president bamuvanga mu
you see, nkwatirako the Baganda saying nkwatirako tebufoka bumbowa. Obumbowa is a god. But if you say Mr. Mirundi, nkwatirako simu yange. I'm not your mumbowa. So you must keep this in mind. The what are you telling them? To guard the witness thieves sharing their route. What would be their role? It is very embarrassing. That's why I cannot accept Dombo, Chiwanda, Tinze Mirundi, Banunza Kachiko publicity. Ndibere once woman. Why don't you give me my budget? Somebody could be once wap. I'm more senior. Kakatebeza, a general, I'm a commander, Alimo Parliament, Ngoganti, chairman of Defense Committee, civilian. Atamaina Baguramundu. This is more clear. The soldiers should be given an active role in the parliament. Security committee must be headed by a soldier. Minister of Internal Committee must be headed by a soldier. These people. And these are listening points. They are infanteries. They are partisans. No, corruption is not partisan. A soldier should be allowed to say. A soldier should be allowed to say, you people, this is because the soldier pays. Kale, gundi, and Plato yachoge. Nchi soldier is more important. As you civilians, you evacuate, a soldier goes to die. Obagamba otya nti batululye mutuliza ababbi nga babba.
And who do they report to?
Anti kyenkubuulira all of these things need reforms. You cannot tell intelligent people to go to witness receives sharing. That's what the essence of Kadaga. We have allocated the money. Zibagenda okubba ze tumanyi mu COVID nakye mu mmere. Abaka parliament bo balema kutwala. Their role must be defined. There is no partisan.